theirs was a New York,
Yeah.
and it was all on the right side of the plate. So, dude, it was a mess. It was so bad. Joe Buck even said, "Well, you know, when they let you expand the plate like that, if you're a pitcher, you just keep hammering away on it." And I'm like, and then it was quiet after that. I'm like, yeah, I get it, dude. I get it. You don't want the Astros in the World Series. Too bad, Joe Buck.
800-749-2984.
The following program does not necessarily represent the views or opinions of the staff, management, or ownership.
Hey, Nikki,
of
how's
the
his
station.
volume?
It's time to get on the right path.
sorry, guys. Go
Right
ahead and talk.
Path Real Estate
Blah, blah, blah,
Radio
blah.
with
This is
Tom
Jason.
Perry and Jason Bible. Get the answer
Jason,
to your
go up a
question
little
that's
bit.
keeping you
Up
from
a little
taking
bit?
action
Okay.
and succeeding
Oh, no,
today.
you're good. I hear you.
All right.
You're good.
Tom's working the ones and twos over there.
Yeah.
Wiki, wiki.
Oh, Lord.
Working the digits.
Get ready. The guys that will put your fears behind you are on the air now.
I have to say, it is awesome having Clear and TSA pre-check.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm through in like 2-3 minutes.
Wow.
I'll tell you about it.
Stand by. Hot mics.
Hey, welcome to the show, Right Path Real Estate Radio. You got Jason and Tom in the house. Jason, you didn't even see the title. Jason and Tom are talking about how to use real estate to save time and make money.
I like that.
So,
But first, I think we need to start the day off with some Astros cheers. Let's go, boys.
yeah, in fact, where's our little...
Oh, I took it off.
Oh, did he? Okay.
So, anybody watching the game last night? Whoo, not great. That's okay. We got Keuchel tonight. It's going to be the bearded wonder is going to put the smack down on the Yankees tonight. So, anyways, we'll talk about real estate, saving time, making money.
Yeah, for those of y'all watching on Facebook, yeah, wearing a little winter garb today. First day, pulling out the leather jacket and black sweater.
Which is funny because all the people that watch from the north are like, they're checking the temperature like, oh, it's 53
Yeah,
down in
right.
Houston.
Yeah, of course, right. I get chilled kind of easily. I have a low percentage of body fat, relatively speaking, and the office has been so cold lately.
It's been chilly in the office. That's why I keep the blinds up in my office because it does keep my office a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little chilly here in Right Path HQ, 11451 Katy Freeway.
Yeah, right. So I was at a real estate networking event last night.
Oh, boy.
In Dallas, and so caught the 4:00 flight to Dallas. Caught the 9:30 back. The 9:30 back.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it was a pretty good round trip.
What time did you get back to your place?
About 11:15.
That's like any other event
I know,
we
right?
put on. That's not bad.
It's like a local event, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So met a lot of great folks. You know, it's interesting to see. I met a great guy there yesterday. He's a dentist that sold his dental practice.
Okay.
And now he works for a guy that owns a construction company. So he sells and then manages his own projects.
So why did he leave his dental practice? Because I'm guessing that makes more money than what he was doing.
Yeah, apparently he didn't get into a lot of the details, but apparently he had a health issue that was making it hard for him to practice.
Yeah,
dentistry.
because you got to be bent over and all
Yeah,
that.
right.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. So he
That
didn't
makes
get into
sense.
all the specific details, but he alluded to the fact that there was some health issues going on. Yeah,
That's a bummer.
Yeah, it's a real bummer. So, so he said, he's got plenty of free time and all that kind of stuff. So he loves the construction stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's not really where the money is. But that's just my perspective, right?
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's experience is different. Your results may vary, right?
Yeah, save time, make money is not managing your own rehabs.
Yeah.
How many people do we see do that? They're like, well, I don't want Fast Track
Yeah.
to manage my rehab. I'm gonna save that money and manage it myself.
Yeah. Well, that's
I'm
one way
like,
to do
you
it.
got to be kidding me. Yeah. So while you're doing that, somebody who's not doing that, who's paying Fast Track, is buying 3 more houses.
Yeah.
You know
Met another really nice couple. She's a real estate agent. In fact, they actually gave me a ride to the airport. If I was
Oh,
out
that's
front
cool.
getting ready to do Lyft, and
You're like, "You
they,
want a
they said,
ride?"
"Hey, you want to get?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm going to the airport." And they're like, "Yeah, we'll give you a ride." So he's flips houses, and so I said, "Well, how long you been doing?" He said, "About a year and a half."
Okay.
How many deals have you done? And he said 4. And so I said, "So it's kind of a part-time thing for you, right?" I mean,
Yeah, like part time.
yeah. And I'm like, "Cause you have time to." He goes, "No, it's all I do. My wife's a real estate agent, and I flip these houses." I'm like, "Oh, well." He goes, and then he asked, "What do you do?" And so I said, "Well, I've flipped 400 houses in the last 4 years." He goes, "Wow." So you just realize, hey, sometimes people only see what's possible based on what they've done in the past. And I said, and I gave the cake illustration.
Yep.
And for those of y'all that are listening, I asked the lady, I said, have you ever baked a cake before? She goes, oh, yeah. And, I mean, what woman hasn't, right? And men, too. I mean, not trying to be sexist, but yeah. And I said, well, how long does it take? She goes, well, about 45 minutes, make a mix out of the box, right? And I said, well, how much do the eggs cost? And how much does the water cost? And how much does the electricity on the oven cost? And she goes, I don't know. And I said, well, you know how to bake a cake, but do you know how to bake 1,000 cakes a day as a business? She goes, no, I don't. And I said, right. And I said, so you know how to get to 4, but that's not the same thing to get to 40 in a year. And getting to 40 is not what gets you to 100, because it's a different set of skills and it's a different set. And so we can do it on a large scale, but we can also teach people how to do it on a smaller scale. And even if you're doing 4, the question is, how do you do 4 and maximize your profit and minimize your time?
Yes.
Because what if you were doing 4 part-time? I met another guy yesterday. He's an engineer, and he's, in that spot. He's done a couple of flips. Some he made money on, some that he lost money on. Had one that 1,600 square foot house, and it was add 500 square feet, and I'm like, is that an area on like a $320,000 house? And I'm like, I don't know. That was he went through 3 different contractors on the job. I mean, and I said, well, how much did you lose on it? He goes, enough to be embarrassed about the number. And I said, the first deal that we lost money on, we were 100 deals into it, fortunately, but we lost $55,000. I mean, and I said, we're in a deal right now that we'll probably lose money on. I mean,
yeah, this might be our biggest loser ever. So our January event, we always do how to lose money in real estate in January.
Right.
It's going to have a really great new story to it.
Yeah.
So.
And then he's like, and he's in the oil and gas, he's a mechanical engineer, designing new platforms. And I'm like, that's got to be an interesting business right now, right? And he said, I'm really struggling with at what point in time would you go full time? And I said, well, you've got to have enough savings to live off on. You've got to have a run time and things like that.
A little runway.
Yeah. And so there was just some really great conversations last night. I mean, I was obviously networking around the room and meeting some fantastic folks.
So the hard part for us, and we'll do it tonight. I'll be at the Redneck Country Club tonight. The hard part for me is when you hear that story, because it's the same story you hear over and over. It's the same 5 or 10 things people are all stuck on.
Yeah. And
I just feel like going, and you don't want to be the pitch guy, but you're like,
just show up.
Just go to our weekend retreat. Man.
Yeah.
Just go. Really? Yeah. We ought to. For people like that we meet in person, I'm tempted to give them, like, if we have a free free pass or something. Look, just you and your wife, you're really sweet. Look, y'all need to go.
Yeah, it'll change your life.
Just to tell them, look, I just want to get you out of your misery.
I'm not trying to sell you anything.
Yeah. I don't care. Look, I don't care if you if you come to, end up on our Pathfinder program. We got to interview you anyways. I mean, just come to our retreat because you are suffering right now.
Yeah,
and you could tell when they're like,
right.
Now, what's funny is when you have a conversation with those people and they don't know what you do.
Right.
Like they don't know who we are, and they're like, yeah, I'm doing these 4 deals and about every year. And they're, oh, what do you do? And then you tell them, and they're like, oh. And then you're like, that's not a whole lot of fun, is it? And they look at you and they get real quiet. They're like, no, it's terrible.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out how to grow this thing, and doing 4 deals in a year and a half just ain't going to work. And it's like, yes, just come to our weekend.
Well, and the trouble is because he's doing everything himself. He's doing the electrical. He's doing it all himself. And I'm like, yeah, you can't work twice as hard to even get to 8.
Yeah.
And you can't live off the 4 that you're doing. I mean, you can make a living, but you're not going to make a great life. You're not really going to impact, your standard of living. And I mean, really sweet couple. And what you realize is like, how do you know who to trust? Because there's so many people out there pitching education. I mean, how do you discern, who it is that you can trust?
Well, I'll tell you, I was watching...
Because they all say that they're doing deals.
Oh, yeah, and they all say that they're experts, and we've been doing this 30 years, and we know what we're talking about. No, you don't. I was listening to Robert Orfino, who owns JB Fund Services here in Houston, and I was listening to his Facebook Live. He was talking about the cake analogy. He said, I was listening to one of Tom's things, and he was talking about the cake analogy, and he went into the whole cake thing, like you had talked about. And he started talking about real estate education. In L.A. right now, he said there's a new guru that flies in about once a week.
Oh, geez.
He's like, it's this constant barrage of these guys. And so he said, look, if you're not talking to somebody who's teaching you how to build a business, how to build the bakery instead of the cake, you're talking to the wrong people.
Right.
And then he said, he gave us a glowing endorsement, and he said, look, the only guys I know that are really teaching this is Right Path.
Oh.
And he mentioned, it was pretty cool. He mentioned like how we had impacted their business and how they're making a lot of changes. And of course, he and Colby are business partners in that thing, and how it's changed Colby's business and all that stuff. So it's fascinating to see when you're really focused on building a business, saving time, making money. And you make money two ways in real estate. You make it via income, via cash flow, and then equity, which is really the equity and the cash flow both are what builds wealth. That's the trick to this business. It's not simply going out and buying a single family house that cash flows. That's not building wealth.
Right.
There's a lot of people that teach buy rentals. That's how you build wealth. And it's like, no, that's not the whole story. The whole story is you're buying a house that produces cash, but you're also buying a house that has got at least 20% equity in it.
Right.
2 minutes.
So you're not typically bringing a lot of cash to closing. So especially you folks in DFW right now, you guys are where we were 3 years ago, where it was taking $15,000, $20,000 out of pocket to get into a deal. In Houston, we're seeing a lot of $10,000, $15,000 out of pocket. It doesn't make sense. That's not how you build wealth.
Right.
You don't build wealth in real estate by putting money into deals.
Yeah, because then you can't scale because you're
You run out of seed capital.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
You run out of your money, and that's a tough place to be in Dallas. And
It is.
yeah, and I don't. You probably have been following some of the people in our base camp and Pathfinder on the Facebook, the private feed, and there was a real estate agent that was commenting. One of our students was making an offer through an agent, and was like, "Well, that number's just way too low." And he said, and he walked him through the numbers.
He did our numbers close with the agent, which I love the numbers close.
And the agent said, "Oh, I guess I'd never really considered doing math to figure out an actual number." And I just love that comment. Yeah, if you're not using math to do real estate investing, then what are you doing? And so I talked to an agent last night that was at the event also, and he said he represents a lot of buyers and that he's trying to get the market rate for their sellers, and then he wanted to disagree with like holding costs, for example. That I said, hey, we normally budget 90 days because I've got to budget enough to cover my expenses. I don't want to lose. I want to be in this for the long haul.
That's right.
And he goes, oh well, this is way too hot of a market to be able to build in like that. I'm like, okay, well then you risk your money.
Great.
Yeah.
You'll be out of business.
Yeah, right.
Or you'll never get in.
Right.
That's what I see a lot of investors.
Well, and
there.
he's not even in. He's an agent. All he's representing is the seller. He obviously does. I mean, agents don't care if
agents don't care.
Right. And they don't understand the numbers. They don't look at them. So, yeah. So anyhow, and he was given an illustration of a house that needed like $30,000 worth of work, and I said, we really like the houses that need more work. And I think that if there's one thing, I won't say that.
We'll get back from the break and
Yeah.
talk more about saving time, making money in real estate. Jason Bible and Tom Perry, Right Path Real Estate.
Mike's off.
So I just saw Rhett Hebert is going to be at the
Investor
game
loans offering up to 100% financing
this
are still available.
weekend,
You just
or
have to
Friday
know
and
where to
Saturday.
look.
Looks like he's
Look
going to be
no
at Friday's
further
game.
than Noble
Cool.
Mortgage. Noble Mortgage is a
Let's see here.
full-service mortgage company that's been helping investors since 2003. Noble Mortgage offers up to 100% financing to investors that covers purchase, repairs, and closing costs. In addition to private money, Noble Mortgage offers conventional loans, FHA, and even no-income documentation loans for both residential and commercial properties. Call
Let's
and ask
see
about our
here. How
5-point
do I
guarantee, which
get
includes free
to
pre-qualifications
this?
within 2 business days. Call 713-680-8100 or visit noblemoney.com. That's noblemoney.com. Our team has over 50 years experience in the mortgage industry. Call us today.
We had an awesome conversation with Jeremy yesterday about some of the marketing.
Yeah.
That horse math post is killing it.
Is that right?
Yes.
That's funny.
Killing it.
Houston, Texas, 77070.
Do you have cracks in your brick, doors that stick, or sheetrock that's coming apart?
They did a new graphics then on it, huh? Did you see it?
Oh yeah, they're doing all kinds of.
Yeah.
They're doing. This is actually going nationwide.
Is it
It's
really?
part of our nationwide push.
Yeah.
For a truly independent, unbiased
That's
foundation evaluation. Foundation Check has been in business since 2009 and has completed over 1,400 evaluations. We're not in the business of repairing foundations. or selling
So
you
got to the airport
unnecessary
yesterday,
equipment. But we are in
and
the
so
business
I'd
of
already
evaluating your
subscribed to
information.
Clear,
Our
but
product is
so
designed
what they
for
do
house
is, do you,
landlords,
do you know what it
or
is?
even owner-occupied
So all they
properties.
do is
Each of our files
you go up
is
to this little
reviewed
station.
by a
They've got this
licensed
guy working
engineer.
there, and they
Remember to
scan your
check
4 fingers
before
this
ever
hand,
repair.
4 fingers this
Call
hand,
346
your 2 thumbs.
702
Then they do
3825. That's
they do a retina
346
scan.
702
And then they take a picture.
3825. Or you can reach us
So they
online
take all your
at
biometrics, right?
Get on a
foundationcheck.com.
plane. It
That's
just
Right.
foundationcheck.com.
But now you don't have to use an ID. So what you do is when you show up, like when I showed up later, you don't go to that machine anymore. You go just up to this line, and there's like a it's almost like walking to the VIP section of a club, right? And there's a guy waiting there, and it's roped off, and I said, hey, yeah, I'm a Clear member. And they're like, welcome back. Which I always thought it was great.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So they let you in. They escort you to the machine, and you put 2 fingers down. It pops up your picture. You're done. Then they
Oh, you don't have to do that every time. That's okay. I got you now.
So,
Okay.
so now they escort you to the front of, like, you're the next person up to see the person,
Whoa,
and
that's
they basically
cool.
say, yeah, this person's with Clear, and they're like, okay, and you hand them your boarding pass. They scan it. That's all they do, and you're done. Then next you're in the TSA pre-check line. So it took me 3 minutes. Start to
Wow.
finish to get through all the way past the X-ray machine in security.
All right, so I got to get signed up on Clear then.
Then
Yeah.
call Fast Track
1 minute.
Remodeling at 832-742-9992 or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Yeah, I showed up
Fast Track Remodeling
for a
specializes in
9:30
turnkey
flight.
remodeling of single-family
Boarding
investment
started
properties.
at
Whether it's a flip
9.
rehab or a
I
rental
got to the
rehab,
airport
we
at
manage every aspect of a
8:45,
rehab from
like
start to
arrived,
finish with
like
a
at the
highly
front door,
efficient, standardized
was
process.
at the
Over
gate
the
by
last 6 years, Fast Track has
8:52.
completed over 700 projects,
Walking,
which
that's
has helped
going
us
through
to create
security,
our
getting to
three
the
keys
gate,
to
like
success.
7 minutes, start to
Use a
finish.
detailed
that's
scope
perfect.
of
From the
work
front
so
door
that
of the
everything
airport
gets
to the
done,
to the
train and
to the
maintain
gate.
quality crews so it gets
So
done right,
aside from
and
parking,
complete
it's
the
really
work in
not
proper
any
order
less
so it gets done fast.
No
inconvenient
more
than
managing it
flying
yourself,
rides.
No more doing the
I
work
tried
yourself.
I tried
Fast
something
Track
new there as
Remodeling
well.
really does
Yeah.
manage it all.
So
So
at
give us a
Hobby,
call today
they have a
at
valet section.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
It's $22 to park regular. It's $26 for valet.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, I'm valeting every time I go now. And they'll wash it. They do a car wash too.
They didn't wash the car, but they give you a pass. It's a separate exit. Everything, you don't have to go through
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
All right, I'm doing that next
Yeah.
time.
Right.
Or look for us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/RightPathRealEstate.
Hot mics.
Welcome back. Right Path Real Estate Radio, 713-785-1817. Talking about how to save time and make money in real estate. You know what we know is everyone that comes to our free event, they've got one thing in common. They're not in love with where their life is right now. If they were, then they wouldn't be in the room. They're looking for something to make their life better. They want to have more time, or they want to have more money, or both. And what we realize is that more millionaires are made through real estate than almost any other source. I saw that you made a post today about creating wealth and all the different percentages of gains over since the crash, right?
Oh yeah. So this was in honor. This was Monday in honor of Black Monday. So if you guys remember, Black Monday was October. I can't remember 17, 1987. And it was the single largest stock market drop in U.S. history. And
Bigger than the crash of in the 20s, right?
Yes, and we'll never have a crash that big again because
'Cause
we've
it
got
stops,
we've got
right.
we've got all the short circuit breakers and all that other stuff. So 26% loss in a
And
single
we don't
day.
have the same kind of leverage that we had back in the 20s.
Right.
Either, where
So
yeah.
so 26% loss in 1987, and so in honor of that post, I pulled the asset classes that had improved the most since our last crash, which is about 10 years old now, and the S&P has returned about 100%.
Yeah.
Which sounds like you're like, oh man, 100% return. That's over 10 years.
Yeah.
It's really a 10% return,
Right.
which is not anything to sneeze at.
Which
but
is actually even less than that if you look at compounded returns, right?
correct.
Yeah.
If you were to look at compounded returns, and the second piece there is most people don't look at their funds. They don't. This is going to get really boring.
Yeah.
Just give me 2 seconds here, and we'll go back to real estate. Most people don't read all the disclosures that come with the fund that they purchase. They get it once a year. It comes in this like newspaper style thing.
Right.
It's like 6 inches thick. It's all the disclosures, but they don't see all the fees.
Right.
Once you take all the fees out of whatever you're paying that guy or gal or team of guys and gals, you're probably making 4, 5, 6% somewhere around there.
Right.
A lot of people don't understand when I tell them, "Oh, well, you're going to pay taxes on that." We're like, "No, I'm not. It's in my 401k. It's on my IRA." Yes, you are going to pay taxes. Your fund pays taxes.
Right, yeah.
Taxes are paid inside the fund.
Right.
You own Apple. You think Apple ain't paying taxes?
Right, yeah.
Apple's paying taxes.
Right.
They're not paying their quote fair share because they've got $250 billion
$1 trillion
in cash
yeah.
overseas. But in any case, you are paying taxes. That's the one thing it's one thing I get a lot of pushback from when they start talking about, well, I'll just invest in my IRA and won't pay taxes. No, you're paying taxes in your IRA. Your real estate is paying taxes in your IRA, right? Still paying property taxes.
Right.
Still so taxes are still being paid. It's just not your income taxes, right? And how that's treated is a little bit different. So still paying taxes. So when you look at these funds and these returns, that doesn't include all of the fees and everything else to get you to that 10% rate of return. Plus, it doesn't account for the risk. A lot of people miss the risk factor in this whole deal. What's my risk when I buy a house, I'm all in for 70 cents on the dollar versus buying a stock at 100% retail? People love to tout Warren Buffett all the time. And I'll tell you, Warren Buffett does not buy stocks.
Right.
Get that out of your brains right now.
companies.
He buys companies. Now, he may acquire it through stock acquisition.
Well, that's just the paper that represents the ownership, right?
But he buys everything at book value.
Right.
He buys at essentially liquidation prices.
Right.
That's not a
or a discount to that.
or even a discount to that, right? You remember that deal he did with Goldman right around 07, 08, where it was a bond at like 5% and then converted into equity, and it was he made a killing on that deal, and everyone's like, Warren Buffett's so smart, and it's like, no, he's at a point now where he's kingmaker.
Yeah,
he's kingmaker in his market.
Right.
In fact, I did a Facebook Live on the way up here. We talked about that. There's 5 or 6 guys in the city of Houston, might be 10, that are literally kingmakers in single family now.
Right.
Like, we get the deals that nobody else is going to get. We get when somebody wants to invest $10, $20, $30 million in real estate in Houston, we're the ones they call. When a deal goes south, nobody else can fix. We're the ones they call. And so, but you got to build up to that. But Warren Buffett, just like us, didn't build up that paying retail for stuff.
Right.
That's not investing. What Warren Buffett does is actually not investing as it's taught on Wall Street. What your money manager is teaching you. Actually, what most of the radio shows, the sponsors not the sponsors, but the other shows on this channel are speaking about, right? They're just like, well, buy this because it's going to go up in value or it's got a great dividend. Actually,
They're speculating.
They're speculating.
Yeah,
now, I could totally get behind dividend guys.
Yeah.
Right? I get it. They're getting a return today. They know based on cash flow and past history of I could totally get into that. But just buying stuff just because it's going to go up in value is not investing. It's all speculation.
Correct.
But I'll tell you, there's
so on that chart that you had did it have real estate on that chart?
No, it did not. It did not.
Shocking.
Did not.
Yeah. Although it'd be hard to put real estate in there because it's going to vary so much from market to market. There's not an exchange for real estate like there is for stocks and bonds and all
you can put in a couple of different metrics that would show the value of real estate over the last 10 years. Obviously, it's appreciated a lot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
that only shows the growth buying it at book value. That doesn't show what real estate investors do buying at a discount to book value.
Right. So the worst you could do.
Well, we got high level really fast.
Yeah. So you could look at Dallas Fort Worth, for example. That's appreciated 55% since 2012. It's almost 12% a year. That's buying at retail. That also doesn't include the cash flow. So if you were in Dallas and bought rental properties before 2012, you probably have 60% equity.
Yeah.
Plus you've been making $400 or $500 a month. Probably, let's say all in net expenses, $4,000 a year.
Per property.
Since 2012.
Yeah.
So for nearly 6 years now, you've made $24,000.
Right.
Plus the depreciation, equity pay down.
Yeah, that's $24,000
pay down.
Tax-free income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relatively tax. Well,
yeah, right.
Sort of tax-free, depending on how much money you make.
Right.
A lot of those things kind of fall out. But anyway, so when you start looking at all of those ways that we make money in real estate, in single-family real estate, buying at a discount is the most critical piece because it's not only it's not only what builds wealth, because you can sit on that appreciate. Let's look at the real estate investor in Houston and in Dallas Fort Worth,
Right.
who bought in let's say before 2012. Let's say you hadn't appreciated 55%. Let's say it only appreciated 3 or 4%. Can you still sell that house and make money? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's why you need those. You need that equity position. That's why you've got to have equity, because that's what builds real wealth. Now, I'm not a guy that likes to go and re-leverage. I hear that from real estate investors all the time. Oh, Jason, I got to sell my single-family houses, or I have to refinance them so I can buy more. And I'm like, no, you don't. And I get so much pushback on that. I'm like, you think that's the way because that's what you were taught, but I'm telling you that's not correct.
Well, there's been times where that's been correct, because that's a lending constriction, right? That there's been times where they didn't have access to any more lending based on the way that they were trying to borrow. But that's changing now. The lending marketplace, it's a pendulum. It keeps swinging. Mm-hmm. So when lending is really tight, then they were trying to do 10 Fannie Mae loans, mm-hmm. and if that was their only source of funding on deals, and that's because that's all they knew, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lack of knowledge, really, what it is. And so they were trying to do their 10, and they're like, well, I could reposition those 10. If I sold 3, then that frees up 3 more loans, because they're trying to do is stay within the Fannie Mae 10 guideline. And so based on that, then they were trying to reposition their equity out of it, right?
Which even in the worst of times, you can find there are national. If you know what you're doing, there are folks nationally that can lend on those deals. You can have 5,000 rental properties if you want. That 10 Fannie Mae that's how you get started. You got your 10 Fannies, great. We've just graduated from amateur hour. Now it's time to go buy some rental properties.
But Jason, right? I can get 5.5% money from Fannie Mae, and those other national programs I have to pay 6%.
Yeah, oh, it's tough.
No, right.
It's 2 minutes.
Tough. Right. So, well, that's that. So, talking about saving time, making money. Here's what we can do: is we can talk about it at a high level. We can also break it down. If you're just getting started, if you're a brand new person and you've said, because I remember this, there's sometimes that you think about, when you were younger, and I think back to, in my early 20s, I actually had it in my mind that one day I wanted to be a real estate investor in my 20s. Mm-hmm. And looking back on it, it's like, why didn't you know what it was? I didn't know of a real estate program like what we have. Somebody that would take me by the hand and say, this is what you do first, this is what you do second. What if you have no money, no job, no credit? Is it possible? It's really hard, but because if you're learning how to do a business, it's not impossible, but it is harder.
Yeah.
And I guess one of the things that, is difficult for people to come and listen to our message is we don't really sugarcoat it. We don't really say, oh, hey guys, you know what? If it's going to be really easy, you're just sign up.
If you're broke, you can do it.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, we got to get your broke fixed.
Yeah,
before
right.
we get you into real estate, right?
But you know what? We have an answer for that.
Yeah.
We don't have enough time to go through it all on the radio, but okay, a lot of guys are saying hello to us on Facebook, and then I don't even know how I can pronounce it. Nakari's asking you a question. What's up, Jason? I love these live sessions. QQ, at the end of the year with your 1099 for being a PML, what's the percentage you're paying on your ROI?
I have no. Talk to your accountant.
Yeah, right. We don't give tax or legal advice on the show, but you know what you know. You don't know what you... Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, in fact, that's the stages of learning, right? The first stage of learning, there's 4 stages of learning. The first stage is what they call unconscious incompetence. You don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly the light bulb goes off and you go, oh, wow, I'm aware that I don't know that, right?
Yep.
So it's conscious incompetence. And then the third level of learning is where you are consciously competent. You have to think about everything that you're doing. Like the analogy that we give a lot is like driving a car.
We got to go to break.
Yeah. Is it time to go to break, Nikki?
Yeah, we go to break. We'll come back.
Break.
I want to talk about how to ride a bike.
Yeah.
Mic's off.
This wasn't coming up for me for some reason.
The
I had
feed?
to refresh it. Yeah, that's
Are
weird.
small returns getting in the way of your retirement plans? Why settle for mediocre results? There's a better place to invest. The experts agree. Single-family.
Hey, Dolores, how are you?
Investments you can make. Find out how JB Fund Services offers.
I'm not sure,
and up to a 13%
Nakaria, I'm not sure how to answer that
281-915-0900
question. With the 1099 from being a private money lender, what's the percentage you're paying on your return on investment? We don't use return on investment as a metric in our business. Return on investment is not. If you're a private lender, that's a whole different scenario. But if you're a real estate investor, your return on investment should be infinite because we don't put any money in the deal. The private lender puts all the money in the deal. So that's how that works. So I'm not quite sure what you're asking there. So if you can clarify that question a little bit, I'd be more than happy to answer it.
Probably not during the live segment, but during the commercial on the break. We answer Facebook questions oftentimes there.
There are over $24 trillion in retirement.
There's $11 billion.
Use someone's IRA to fund all of your deals. Well, you can. Quest IRA is based locally here in Houston, Texas. At Quest IRA, we offer retirement accounts that can be used to invest in real estate, promissory notes, private entities, and much
So we're
more.
sponsoring
Many of
Fright
our
Night
clients
for
loan money
Quest.
to
Yeah,
their
but we can't
IRAs
be there
to fund
'cause-
real estate
Yeah, because we
deals
got
all
our
over the
deal, but
country. We don't
You
take
wanna-
money
the-
investors.
slip out and go?
that party will be a going afterwards. I know that. So I was
Thinking about going?
thinking about going. I always want to be the most offensive costume. I really do. So, last year I was going to do that lion thing, and this year I found actually it said on Drudge Report had a 10 most offensive costumes article.
Okay.
This was like 2 or 3 days ago, so it's probably not up there anymore.
Yeah.
My favorite one was the wall.
Or go to our website, questira.com.
Are you looking
It
for
just
an
said,
investor-friendly
build the
general
wall or
contractor
something
for
like
your
that.
investment property?
I
Then
thought,
call
that's
Fast Track
great.
Remodeling at 832-742-9992.
You're not offended.
Or reach us on the web at fasttrackremodeling.com.
Gotta be
Fast Track
offended.
Remodeling specializes in turnkey remodeling of single-family investment properties, whether it's a flip, rehab, or a rental rehab. No more managing it yourself. No more doing the work yourself. Fast Track Remodeling really does manage it all.
So give us a call today at 832-742-9992.
Have you ever experienced the pain of trying to get MLS comps for your hot lead? If you've lost deals waiting for MLS comps, you can
Hey,
understand
Nikki?
the frustration. How much would it help you
Yes?
if you no longer had to wait?
Is there any way we can get this one off the radio?
You need to close a deal. Propelio is a
Oh,
brokerage
yeah,
website
yeah.
that gives you instant.
You get my-
Oh,
I
no,
texted
no,
about
I
it
got
last
you.
time.
Yeah.
Lead lists and comps
That's
with
right, it's the end of the
access to a
month.
network
Sorry, I
of the
forgot.
top real estate agents.
It's all good.
Get an edge on everyone else. Get a free 7-day trial today by going to getmlscomps.com now. That's getmlscomps.com.
Are you expecting to close accurately, on time, and with lots of
Oh, that's
communication
awesome.
on your home purchase? You've come to the right place. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, Senior Loan Officer with
that's a
Legacy
little
Mutual
weird.
Mortgage. Our goal is to give our borrowers and referral partners an amazing experience during the loan process. My team believes in putting people and culture before results. Our company concentrates
Pocahontas,
on building
always
those
good.
teams who operate with structure, process, and
Illegal
recognition
alien.
for going the extra mile for you. This way, we have the energy to make this your best home purchase ever. Give us a
That's
call
awesome.
today to find out the
right,
simple
30
steps
seconds.
to get started. I'm Jennifer Hernandez, the Hernandez team at Legacy Mutual Mortgage. Jennifer.legacymutual.com.
That's awesome.
Or call 713-579-3611. Again, Jennifer.legacymutual.com. We can't wait to
That's a
consult with you
breathalyzer.
soon. NMLS 514497.
This is business.
I like it.
Call Jason or Tom at 713
Oh, that's awesome.
1817 or look for us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/RightPathRealEstate.
Welcome
Hot
back.
mics, guys.
Welcome back, Jason Bible, Right Path Real Estate. So I want to share a story. We're looking at offensive costumes. We got invited to a costume party. We're hosting the we're one of the sponsors of the Quest IRA Halloween party. If you go to questira.com,
Fright Night.
yeah, Fright Night. If you go to questira.com, it's a costume party. Get together. They share scary stories. They get up there and talk about deals that went bad. It's scary stories. So Quincy gets up there and Nathan, they share scary stories. A lot of fun. So we were looking at offensive costumes because if we're going to go, I figured let's make a statement. So in any case, my favorite one on there was the baby dressed as a cigarette, right? That's pretty good.
I like the breathalyzer.
The breathalyzer is pretty funny too. So
Yeah.
in any case, we're shopping for offensive costumes. But so let me talk about, I'm Dad of the Year. Let me tell all the parents out there how to train their kids how to ride a bike. I figured the secret out. And that is You take a bike, and training wheels are adjustable, right?
Right.
So they go up and down, and I know most parents like to get it to where all 4 wheels are on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Make sure the kid is the most stable.
Right.
I thought that was the stupidest thing ever. So whenever we got a bike for each one of the boys, we jacked the training wheels all the way up.
Yeah.
So that means it's always off balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they first get on it, they're like, oh, this is crazy. It's always going back and forth. Well, what they're doing is they're naturally learning how to balance.
Right.
So what we found in our house is that when the boys literally rode the training wheels off the bike, meaning they broke the wheels or they bent those training wheel axles or they bent the mounts for the training wheels because they're those cheap sheet metal things, that they're ready for 2 wheels.
Right.
So Carson's always ridden his bike probably about once a day. Well, now that he's, Sarah and the boys ride their bike to school, he's riding to the school every single day. So I knew it was just a matter of time until training wheels came off. So last Friday, I think it was Donuts with Dad at the school. So I rode with Carson out there. I took Sarah's bike. That's when I had to buy Sarah a new bike because her bike was like, man, this thing needs a lot of maintenance. And then Carson's bike, the training wheels were making this horrendous noise. So I'm like, all right, we're close to losing the training wheels on this thing. So then he asked, hey, Dad, can I do 2 wheels? So Sarah said, yeah, you coming home tonight early on Tuesday? I said, yeah, I'll be home tonight. So last night, took the training wheels off. And literally, because they've ridden the bike so much, and they're used to this method where the training wheels are not on the ground, that all you got to do is take the training wheels off, and you give him a little push, and boom, he's off riding on 2 wheels. It's so easy. It's hilarious. So I've told all my friends this. I'm like, this is how. There's 2 parenting tips out there. New parents, I don't ever give any advice. Parenting tips. It's a total. It's raising kids is a total kind of mess. But there's 2 I'll tell you. This one on how to train for a bike. The second one is when you have a newborn. You always have the TV on, and you put them in the cradle, and when you put them down to go to sleep, you put them right next to the TV. Because they'll sleep through anything at that point. You're training them to sleep through. Yeah. It was like I can't remember who gave me that tip.
Yeah.
But that's what we did with all the boys. We could have a party with gunfire in the front yard, and the kids aren't waking up. They ain't waking up. So that was the 2 biggest tips I ever got. Anyway, so
I want to come to your parties.
Our party's fun. So
gunfire in the front yard.
Yeah. So in any case, that's what that's the 2. So anyways, the reason I brought up training and training wheels is that we intentionally lift those training wheels up off the bike so that it's an uncomfortable ride. But when they're ready, they're ready. However, I'll tell you this, it's an easy training technique. However, does that mean that the first time they ride the bike with the training wheels like that, the next day you can take the training wheels off? No, they've got to ride a long time with the training wheels like that, right? Real estate's no different. Some of you guys are going to have training wheels on for a little bit longer than others. Some of you are ready to ride on 2 wheels first day. And that all depends on skill set, depends on how much money you've got, depends on what your credit situation is. But the reality is you could save time and make money in real estate where you're at now. But where you're at now is going to be different than every other person. That's one of the reasons when we sit down with somebody that's thinking about doing real estate with us, first thing we ask is, hey, what are you trying to accomplish?
Right. And it's not, well, I'm trying to wholesale 4 deals this year so that I can flip 8 deals next year so that I can buy 3 rentals the next year. That's the process that gets you to the goal. The goal is, this is what I want my life to look like.
Yeah.
A year from now, 3 years from now, 5 years from now.
Yeah, if somebody says, I want to buy 10 rentals. I'll be at the Redneck Country Club tonight, right? So somebody say, hey, I want to buy 10 rental properties. Why?
Yeah, right.
Well, because I want the cash flow. Yeah, I know that. I mean, but why are we buying 10 rentals? Yeah. Right? I mean, why not open up a restaurant? I mean, well, because I don't want to open up a restaurant because it'll take all my time. Oh, so it's a time issue. So what are we trying to do? Oh, I'm trying to retire. I've got this great, pension set up, or I've got some great annuity or whatever, and I'm just trying to, augment, add this 10 extra properties on here. Great. Okay, now so come with what is it we're trying to accomplish. This is why, how many of y'all, and I know you can't see this, but I like to do this at our events. Raise your hand if this is you. How many of y'all have signed up for real estate coaching before in the past? And I imagine, we all raise our hands, right? How many of you, when you write that check for real estate coaching, They hand you a 3-ring binder that's 4 inches thick
Oh, geez.
and say, "Congratulations, here's your business."
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Well, wait a second. This business may not be the same one you're selling to the guy next to me,
Right.
but the one you're selling next to me is the same." Let's talk about the bakery. We talk about building a bakery.
Right.
Are all those cakes the same?
No.
No, they can't be. They can't be.
Right.
So, first question I always ask is, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? Let's go back to the training scenario. So, most kids, most normal kids, our house is real different. Most normal kids, they learn how to ride a bike because it's transportation, it's fun with their friends. We started triathlons with Cameron, I want to say it's 7 or 8. I can't remember. So, Carson this morning, or last night when he got off of 2 wheels, Carson and Cameron are both in running club at the elementary school. Carson's 6. So they're already getting ready for competing in those sports. So we're already backing into, all right, he's learned how to get on 2 wheels. Now how many miles does he have to do? How fast does he have to do it in order to compete in a triathlon at 6? So I realize our household is different, but it's no different than real estate investing. Great. In 5 years from now, Carson will be 11. Say 4 years from now, I'll be 10. All right, so we know that in order to meet these certain goals, we have to be doing these things over the next 4 years. Your real estate investing career is no different.
Right.
You know, my wife is in the middle of this body challenge thing at the gym. She's been doing this for 2 years now. So she wants to. We know that you have to eat literally down to each meal. We know that this many calories, it has to come from fat and protein, and I need to get these vitamins, all this other stuff. So we start backing into all these things to say that if I want this result 3 or 4 years from now, I'm going to have to do these things every single day. And the reason I shared all those different analogies with you, because regardless of what you pick to do, whether it's training and triathlon, whether it's lifting weights, whether it's building a real estate portfolio, you have to be doing certain things every single day to get you that result.
And the problem is that a lot of times people have a tough time picking one.
Mm-hmm.
So Jorge asked a question on the Book of Faces. He says, "Hello, guys. I'm seeing flooded houses sold at Cinco Ranch by investors at values like flooding did not affect ARV before the storm, and rehab is about $30K, which I think is unrealistic. Do you think some markets, even when flooded, may not be impacted in the value?" Well, first off, when you use the word investors, I make a distinction between investors, the people that are actually going to close on the house, put their money into rehabbing it, versus the people that are wholesalers. Wholesalers, I don't believe, are investors, because all they're doing is they're putting a property under contract and promising the seller that they're going to close on the property, but they won't close on the property unless they actually, it says bought by investors, I meant. I mean, here's what I'll tell you is, I don't believe that if I go as a retail buyer, if I'm a retail buyer looking at a house and I've got 2 houses that I'm considering, and one of them never flooded and the other one has, that I'm going to pick for the exact same price, assuming it's the exact same property, everything's exactly equal. Let's say assume there are 2 houses next door to each other, one flooded, the other one didn't. I'd obviously want to pick the one that didn't flood. Now, they're at a discounted price, I would be willing to buy the other house. So we are taking a discounted price off the ARV on flooded houses when we're looking at property. So,
well, let's talk real quick about the retail market. This is the market. Cinco Ranch is a good market. That's probably the market Sarah and I shop for houses in, right? $400,000 or $500,000 house. I can tell you right now, when you start getting above $300,000, because that's not an entry level house anymore, that if it's me and those folks in that income bracket, and they look at a house and they go, "Let me get this straight. I can buy this one that's flooded for $500,000, or the one next door that didn't flood for $500,000. I don't care if it only flooded once.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with it.
Right, ever.
I'm not buying a flooded house.
Right.
I think to make some assumptions on the impact of Harvey right now,
it's too early.
It's still real early in this game.
Because we don't know where the retail buyers are right now.
Well, and I think even if the retail buyers come back 6 months from now, I think this is going to be a lot longer than we thought.
Right.
I've been comparing notes with some other real investors that buy 10, 20 houses a month, and we're all kind of the thought process that this is going to develop a lot slower than we thought. So when we get back from the break, we'll talk more about saving time and making money in real estate. It's Jason Bible, Tom Perry, Right Path Real Estate.
Mike's off.
Jimmy, that's hilarious. Correction, 3 3-ring binders. That's exactly what it is, right?
Real estate investors. If
Hey,
you're
good
not
morning,
familiar
Amanda.
With Quest IRA, let me tell you what you're missing. We've got free weekly educational classes, networking opportunities, and the ability to tap into trillions of dollars for your real estate investing.
Yeah,
deals.
George, I think some of that in Cinco Ranch
Or join
are
us
buy and hold
remotely
landlords.
As we simulcast
Yeah.
all of our educational classes every Tuesday morning and evening.
You know,
For
the
more
distressed
information,
sales really
call
haven't
us
started
at
yet.
1-855
We're still in the very much in the preseason
or
of
visit
that.
our website at questira.com.
Selecting a foundation company and their product for repair is a lot like a game of chance. You simply don't know what you're going to get. The foundation repair industry as a whole doesn't carry a license, nor is it regulated. However, Foundation Check utilizes professional engineers to review all of our files to give you the best foundation analysis in today's market. Remember to check before every repair. Call 346-702-3825.
Hey, what's up, Jeff? Just saw his
or
note.
You can reach us online at foundationcheck.com.
Rehab loans, conventional loans, FHA, and no-income documentation loans can seem scary unless you have the right mortgage company to guide you through the process.
I'm scared. Those are
Since
scary loans.
2003, Noble Mortgage
I was
has
listening to the
been
show
helping
yesterday. I
investors
thought it was
thrive
interesting when
wisely.
Jennifer called
Whether
in,
rehabbing
and
houses,
she's like,
buying your
so
first
many
home,
people
rental, or
that
commercial
call in
property,
that
Noble
call her,
Mortgage
right,
offers
that
up
are
to
scared, that are
Yeah.
like, I don't know, I've
Right.
got this like
713
bankruptcy,
680
or I've
Right.
got this, or I got
8100, or
that,
visit
and it's like, there's no reason to be
noblemoney.com.
scared,
That's
man. Everybody's got some,
noblemoney.com.
and she's right. I mean, most people have got some kind of
Time is money
hickey
in
out
real
there,
estate.
right?
Yeah, almost
If your
everyone.
insurance
Yeah.
company is slow or non-responsive, you could lose a deal like that. You need a quick turnaround on quotes, binders, and the agency for that is Benchmark Insurance Group of Texas. The team at Benchmark understands the investor mindset. They know what you need and when you need it. It's there for you. Call Houston's leading real estate risk management experts. Benchmark
So
Insurance
is
Group of
Valley
Texas.
leaving today for the
281-569-4353.
national conference?
I think
That's
so.
281-569-4353.
That sounds right.
Or online at benchmarkbroker.com.
You found or inherited a great investment property. Problem is, you don't know how much it's worth, or more importantly, what to do to maximize your investment while mitigating risk. This is exactly why we started Next Gen Appraisals. Next Gen is a group of appraisers specializing in investment real estate.
Colby said, we took 15% off pre-flood ARV in Cinco Ranch, then ran our numbers and have 3 now and working on the 4th, one today, 520 to 590 pre-flood ARV.
9911, or check us out online at nextgenappraisals.com.
Have you ever experienced the pain of trying to get MLS comps for your hot lead? If you've lost deals waiting for MLS comps, you can understand the frustration. How much would it help you?
Hey, good
if you
morning,
no longer
Yolanda.
have to wait for a real estate agent to get you the info you need to close a deal. Propelio is a brokerage website that gives you instant 24/7 access to high equity lists and comps.
I'll tell you what, I'm
of the top real estate agents.
I'm so
Get an
looking
edge on
forward to
everyone
this
else.
December.
Get a free
2 things in
trial
December.
today
Our
by going
December
to
event,
Yeah.
I think is going to be.
now. That's
Our weekend retreat?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
going
yeah.
to be cool.
Yeah.
It's going to be cool. The
Right.
second thing I'm looking forward to is that whole real estate guru shootout thing.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be
The experts
fun.
agree the single-family
It's going to be
You know, we had
fun.
somebody in our office yesterday,
Find
and
out how
they were
JD
like,
Fund
"Man,
Services
went to a
offers
Rich Club
9%
event,
preferred
and
return and up to
wow,
13%
that was
waterfall."
really bad."
Call us today at 281-915-0906
Yeah. It's like, ow.
or visit our website.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be, guys. Doesn't
Yeah.
have to be.
281-915-0906. This investment is offered to accredited investors.
Yeah, you know,
Are you a realtor or
the
seller
the
that is
longer we do
concerned
this,
about
the
new
more you
TRID
just
rules
really
and
realize
closing on
that
time? I'm Jennifer Hernandez,
it's
Senior
people
Loan Officer
thinking
at Legacy Mutual Mortgage,
that
and we have
really
mastered
keeps
the
them
30-day
from
close.
where
close
they're
on
trying to
time,
get to in
accurately,
life.
and with
That
tons of
that the number
communication.
one barrier
You'll have a
between
dedicated team of
where
a
they are
coordinator
currently
and a
and
contract
where
to
their
close
dream life
associate.
is,
Give me
it's
a call
their
today,
thoughts are so broken.
713-579-3611,
That's
and
what, you know, I
let's talk
shared
about how we
something
can
one
help
day
you
on one
your
of our
next
Facebook
transaction.
lives.
NMLS
I was,
514497.
Yeah, no, Kobe, I got that.
This is business.
Oh, we get
All right,
back.
we're
All
coming
right.
back.
Call Jason or Tom at 713-785-1817 or look for us on Facebook Live at facebook.com/rightpathrealestate.
Hot mics.
Can't take yourself too seriously, right?
No, we're serious real
No,
estate
come on now.
investors. We're serious.
Serious.
That's life or
As
death
some of our
over here.
competitors, we're serious.
You know, it's so funny. You know, it's like you know, it's kind of like when people go to our free event or they go to our weekend retreat and they're, you know, hey, should we sign up? And I'm like, look, here's the deal, dude.
You either will or you won't.
You either will or you won't. But here's what I know. I know our stuff works. You're going to end up here eventually.
Right.
Because it really works. Like what we're teaching, really, it's not this, hey, come to our free event and then come to our seminar where we're going to give you 7 of the 11 pillars of how to be successful. And then here's our coaching program, and here's another coaching program, and a this and a that and this and a, and then, you're never going to be successful. I mean, it's like, this is real estate investing and business is actually very simple. You were chatting, you and I were chatting during the break. People are not where they want to be because of the way they think.
Right.
It has nothing to do with the market. Most of the time, it's got nothing to do with your finances. It's got nothing to do with the fact that your credit's a mess. It's your way you have been taught things.
I tell you one of the reasons why I was thinking about that. So with this Right Path Real Estate Financial Education that we're starting, right? That there's a big event happening in Utah this weekend, right? So, and I was thinking that the guy that's going to be there putting on their big event, right? The CEO of that company is going to be there, and then he's going to be here in Houston on Wednesday and Thursday. And so, like, to fly, from place to place to place for successful people, that's no big deal, right?
So on a plane.
And so, like yesterday, I hopped on a plane at 4. I was in Dallas by 5. I took a lift to an event. I was there. It started at 5:30. I was there. I got there about like 5:35, right?
2 minutes.
I was at this event for however many, hours, and then flew home last night. No big deal, right?
Yeah.
But then in talking with people that are stuck where they are right now, and they're like, well, when's your next weekend retreat? Well, it's this weekend. Well, where is it? It's in Houston. Oh, well, I'm in Dallas. I mean, I can't possibly get to Houston. And I'm like, I just got to Dallas and back today. I mean, like, do you realize how broken that thinking is? It's like, oh, I can't get from Dallas to Houston to have a better future for my... I'm like, oh, what?
Oh, you don't want to make $1 million a year. I get it. Yeah, I get it. You keep doing... And
you keep doing you.
I love folks like that because I'm like, you know what? We probably don't want you there anyway.
But
you're not that serious.
But it's not that they're not that serious. It's like the limiting beliefs that they have in their head already is what keeps them from their better future. And they're like, I just don't understand. I don't know how to do the whatever, fill in the blank, whatever that is, right? And the answers are right there, but you have to put some effort to get from point A to point B.
1 minute.
Which it's no different getting from Houston to Dallas or Dallas to Houston than to get from point A to point B and where you're trying to get with your family, with your financial future, with all of those things.
It doesn't make any sense to me. I had a guy on Robert's feed yesterday that said, hey, when's the next event you guys are doing in LA? I said, we got a weekend retreat, jump on a plane. He's like, no, do you guys do it online or remotely? I'm like, and then I just said, you don't get it, dude. You're not serious enough. Jump on a plane. It's a 3.5-hour flight. Get what you need to start building your business. But if a 3.5-hour flight is keeping you from being successful, we don't want you at our weekend retreat. Like, seriously, you're not ready.
Yeah.
20 seconds.
You're not serious.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Our next weekend retreat starts on Friday. Go to rightpathrealestate.com. If you want to be there, we have a few spots available. Rightpathrealestate.com, rightpathrealestate.com. And I'll be in the studio tomorrow. With our
Build Your Team Thursday.
That's exactly right. And then Jason will be on the radio Friday while I start the event. See you at the event, guys.
All right, gentlemen. Have a good day.
Thanks. All right, see you. Bye.